X.
You have to pay attention to your surroundings at all times. So, you know. I mean, I guess you could call it kind of a Kaizo trap. That they sort of, they want to catch you with it, but, you know, sets to reason that you need to watch out for the Xenos all the time. I mean, they're swarming the ship, so I mean, come on. Thing that you don't see so much in a lot of space related things is seeing people actually latch on, and that stuff is actually really, really important. Look at him. Better to burn out than to fade away. Yeah. You know. For the most part.
Verlaine, I'm on my way up to the bridge.
Familiar area, of course. I think we all know where that is. It's the Denny's. I don't think the joke's supposed to make sense.
Verlaine?
So that was Alien Isolation. Definitely left it open-ended. But it is still kind of a dark ending, which is not different from the original proposed ending of Alien. which was to have the Xenomorph kill Ripley and get in the pilot seat or the captain's seat and start talking with her voice. And there's a lot of great horror films that use dark endings, where the bad guy wins. I mean, to spoiler Alien Covenant, it has the bad guy wins ending, and I like it a lot. That's part of the reason why I really like that movie. I say really like. I don't think it's amazing, but I really liked this game. I consider it an honorary Alien movie. It's definitely right up there with Alien and Aliens, and it should be a part of the whole mythos and everything. It's fantastic. The graphics are great. There's a few random glitches here and there, and you can tell it was intended mostly for consoles, just because the way the control scheme is, like with the sort of rotating inventory. That's not really a bad problem, because the majority of the game is sort of exploration and just sort of stealth. You have a lot of equipment, a lot of items that you can use, but you don't necessarily need to be able to access that stuff quick so that you can do this, that, or the other. It's great in terms of horror, and the AI of the alien, of the Xenomorph, is mostly good. Sometimes it can be a little wonky, but it's fantastic, and the fact that it's an unkillable enemy is great. Now, when I first played through it, I was surprised that we never got to see the alien queen. I mean, there are eggs, so something had to be laying them, right? But I think that they also went to go sort of back, just alien. That's why it's Alien Isolation. Of course, I don't know, I haven't researched the making of, but it doesn't detract from it any. I just think the alien queen is awesome. The only real problem with the game, like I had mentioned before, was that sometimes it does feel like they're kind of padding the game. There's like just sort of a lot of extra stuff. Like a lot of, oh, you can't just do this, you have to go back and do this. And it especially becomes apparent towards the end, where you go and do something, then you have to go backtrack to something else because that didn't go right, and then, of course, then you can go forward. So they definitely padded it out a bit. I guess maybe to feel like people getting their money's worth, but it does make it a little bit extra long. They could really cut maybe a few hours out of it, and it would have still been fantastic. Especially because it's got a lot of DLC, so there's a lot of extra content. Not to mention different difficulty levels and everything. So, really, how you would want to play the game, there's just a lot. It's unfortunate because, not too long after this, actually after doing Twin Peaks: The Return, Harry Dean Stanton died. He was fantastic. And of course, I'm just going to regret the day that the rest of them kicked the bucket, because, the movie was made in 1979. So you know how that goes. But overall, I think it's a fantastic game. I mean, I was absolutely glad to be able to play it again. I say be able to. I mean, I own the game. But it was fantastic to be able to even play it again just to re-record this footage. It's still fun. It still catches you off guard. And for the most part, it doesn't really feel unfair. Sometimes you get instances where it kind of is because of this, that, or the other, but it's just a fantastic game. Absolutely. And hopefully they're working on making more in the future. And they add more content, more things to do, and just sort of improve on the overall gameplay, but definitely sort of shorten the padding on it. That's really the biggest complaint about it, is that there is just sometimes when it kind of drags on a bit, and you just kind of like want to just get through it. It's like, come on. But it's not really that bad. It's The only time that's really bad is when you die and then you have to go and back. You have to go and retrace your steps. You have to do a large section over and over again. And I think one time I got really upset. It's about halfway through the game, and you have to
Signing off.
activate a working Joe to. I'm trying to remember specifically. You have to activate a working Joe to do something for you. And so there's two switches on each side of the room. You have to activate those, and then, deal with the working Joe and everything. And I died like a couple of times. About like the third or fourth time I was doing it, it was late at night. I was starting to get irritated by having to play this long 30-minute section over and over and over again. But other than things like that, they really do. They put the checkpoints, save points, and all that. Plenty of places, so you have access to it a lot. And there's a lot of opportunities for you to just sort of wait, sort of hide and wait, so you don't have to worry about being in a massive crunch to do stuff. Usually when it is just short little moments that you have to hurry up and get out the way, do this, do that, etc. But definitely one of the best games in the past couple of years. I mean, I'm just absolutely was excited for it to get it in the first place, and just A+, S rank, or X rank. How about a little bit of Splatoon there? It's X rank. I mean, I'm especially glad because, Colonial Marines was really just terrible. I mean, hell, the little bit I played of it, even like one of the first sections where you have a lot of Xenos popping in, you have to fight them, that bugged out and they just stopped spawning. That game was just broken beyond belief. And Alien vs. Predator was great, but the Alien section is so short. So, it's good to get an Alien-related game that's this expansive. It definitely builds the world. There's so much to read, It definitely, it definitely invokes ideas like of Amnesia, The Dark Descent, with the fact that you have to run and hide, but you also have to be careful, not to attract its attention. I mean, even on the regular difficulty I'm playing, the Xenomorph had a good enough AI where he started to figure out some of the places where I was hiding. That straight up douche moment when he was hiding on top of the little cabinet, and I knew he was nearby, but I couldn't tell exactly where. And when I reviewed the footage, you could hear like sounds, like skittering sounds on top of it. Like you could, like, if you knew that's what the sound was, you'd be like, oh well, he's on top of this thing. But the second I checked my beeper, my radar, then he heard the beep. Then he just ripped it open and got me. It's great. I wouldn't mind playing it on the highest difficulty just to see how difficult it is to actually hide from them. The only thing that would make it frustrating is dealing with those the working Joes. Kind of that's also another thing that sort of drags on a bit. Like when you have to purge the core as you're going through there. There's so many of those guys that you have to deal with, and the railways are thin, and you really can't just run from them. I mean, you can try to run, but when they're coming from each side and you can't really run past them, it's just a lot of times you have to deal with them. It's like, I think it's one of those things that when it ramped up with having to deal with like 8 of them at once, then it should have kind of like slowed down a bit. But no, they kind of keep going up and down like that. But overall, I know I've said it before, but I absolutely love this game. It's fantastic. And if you're watching this and you don't own it, get it. Like, wait till it's on sale or something, but definitely get it and play it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching.